Why do we prefer to wear light colored clothes during summer? Now, the reason behind this also lies in the concept of radiation, which we just discussed just now. So we talked about absorption, right? So anything which absorbs more heat will become more hot. Anything which absorbs less heat will become less hot. That is the simple logic behind all this. So when we talk about light colored clothes, the light colors like white, cream, light pink, all these light colors, they have a tendency to reflect most of the light that fall on them. So as I told you that on any object, whenever radiation falls on any object, there are three options that can happen. Some light might get reflected, some light might get absorbed, some light might get transmitted. If more light is getting reflected, that means less light is being absorbed, right? So with these light colors, most of the light gets reflected. Therefore, less light is absorbed, and therefore it becomes less hotter. So therefore, the person feels less hot. Whereas with dark colored clothes like black, they absorb maximum light. So they absorb maximum heat, and therefore the body becomes hotter. So with light colors, the body remains cool, and that is why light colors are preferred in summer. Why do we wear woolen clothes in winter? So how does wool help us to feel warm during winter? That's because wool is a poor conductor of heat. So it doesn't allow heat to pass through it. So it traps all the heat. Now our body is continuously emitting heat, as I told you. Now when the body is emitting heat, what happens? This wool, being a poor conductor, it doesn't allow that heat to go out of the body. So all the heat gets trapped. And when more heat is being trapped, so we feel warm. And also air is trapped between the wool fibers. So if you look at the wool fibers closely, the wool is knit like this, right? So whatever open spaces you have in between them, in these open spaces are present air, and air is again a poor conductor of heat. So air also doesn't allow heat to go out. So this air as well as wool, all of them together trap a lot of heat, and therefore we feel warm, we feel hot. And therefore woolen clothes are preferred during winters. So no heat flow takes place from the body to surroundings. Now, why do you think it is better to use two thin blankets than one thick blanket during winters? Now again, when we are using multiple blankets, what's happening? Between any two blankets, there is one layer of air. And air is again a poor conductor, so air will trap heat, and therefore it will provide us more warmth. So layer of air is being trapped between two blankets, and this will add to insulation. This will add to the warmth of our body, and that's how we will feel more warm. So if it is extreme cold, it is always better to use 2 or 3 blankets rather than using just one thick blanket. Now, why are utensils used for cooking blackened at the bottom? So why do you think it happens? If you observe the utensils, you will see that some of them have a copper coating at the bottom, some of them are coated black. That's because these dark colors, they actually absorb a lot of heat. Now when they absorb a lot of heat, the temperature increases fast. Therefore, the substances which are present inside, they tend to heat up quickly. So the cooking becomes faster. So black absorbs more radiation, therefore this helps in faster cooking. So see, all these simple things which keep on happening in our day-to-day life, but we do not know the reason behind them. But they are all based on such small concepts. Thank you. Please visit www.examfear.com to watch more educational videos with a better experience. Please do not forget to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel for latest updates. Thank you once again. Hello friends, this video on heat part 16 is brought to you by examfear.com. No more fear from exam. So with this we have reached towards the end of this lesson. So let us quickly look at some of the questions. Question number 1. State similarities and differences between the laboratory thermometer and the clinical thermometer. So if you talk about similarities, so both of them construction wise, they are made up of glass tube, they contain mercury, both of them are used to measure temperature. So these are some things which are common. You talk about differences, again lot of differences. In clinical thermometer, you only have provision to measure temperature between this range 35 to 42 degrees Celsius, whereas in laboratory thermometer you can measure a huge range of temperature starting from -10 degrees Celsius to 110 degrees Celsius. Clinical thermometer is used to measure the body temperature, whereas the laboratory thermometer measures temperatures of many other objects. In clinical thermometer, we have a kink which is present, and due to that kink, the mercury level doesn't fall on its own, and we need to give physical jerks to the thermometer to bring the mercury level down. But that is not the case with laboratory thermometer. Here, as soon as you take the thermometer out of that particular object, the mercury levels falls down. So therefore, in this case, no jerks are needed, but at the same time, it cannot be used to measure the temperature of human body. Question number 2. Give 2 examples, each of conductors and insulators of heat. So conductors, those which allow heat to pass through them, those who conduct heat, and their best examples would be the metals. For example, aluminium, copper, iron, they are all good conductors of heat. If you talk about insulators, they do not allow heat and therefore they are not suitable for cooking purposes. Like plastic, wood, air, water, they are all poor conductors or insulators of heat. Question number 3. Fill in the blanks. The hotness of an object is measured by its, how do we determine how hot an object is? By its temperature. Temperature of boiling water cannot be measured by a dash thermometer. Which thermometer is used for measuring temperature of all other objects? Laboratory thermometer, yes. And which cannot measure temperature of boiling water? That is clinical thermometer, because this thermometer can only measure temperatures falling in the range of 35 degree to 42 degrees Celsius, and it can only measure the temperature of human body. That's it. Temperature is measured in degree, in which is the most commonly used scale of temperature. The most commonly used one is the degree Celsius. No medium is required for transfer of heat by the process of, so just throw the ball in the air. So that was radiation. So I gave the example of the ball with boys with the ball. A cold steel spoon is dipped in a cup of hot milk. It transfers heat to its other end by the process of the same object. Heat is being transferred from one end to another. So in solids, how heat transfer takes place? By conduction. Clothes of dash colors absorb heat better than clothes of light colors. So dark colors absorb more heat. So therefore, we prefer wearing dark colored clothes during winters. Question number 4. Match the following. So here you have columns 1 and 2 and you have to make the right match. Land breeze blows during, so land breeze will always blow during night. And sea breeze will flow during the day. Dark colored clothes, they absorb more heat, so they are going to keep you more warm. So you want to be warm during winters. So this is going to be winters. And light colored clothes should be worn during summers because they reflect most of the heat and a very small amount of heat gets absorbed. So your body remains cool. Discuss why wearing more layers of clothing during winter keeps us warmer than wearing just one thick piece of clothing. That's because when you have more layers, so between every 2 layers you have 1 layer of air which is being trapped, and air is a poor conductor of heat. Now therefore the heat gets trapped. So a lot of heat gets trapped which provides us warmth, so there is an additional insulation and therefore we remain warm. So the body remains warm. Question number 6. Mark where the heat is being transferred by conduction, by convection and by radiation. So here if you see, when your this fire, it heats up this vessel which contains water. So how is the vessel getting heated up? So the vessel is getting heated up by conduction. That is how solids get heated up. So by direct contact. Now how the water is being getting heated up? The fluids. So water is being getting heated by convection, right? And what about this fire? The fire is also radiating heat to the surroundings, so that is radiation. Question number 7. In places of hot climate, it is advised that the outer walls of houses be painted white. That's why, because in hot climate, we do not want the inside of the house also to be very hot. So we would prefer it to be painted in a color which reflects most of the light and absorbs very less heat. So the light colors absorb less heat. So white reflects most of the radiation. So it will keep the interior cool, because white color absorbs less radiation and it reflects most of it. So the house remains cool. Question number 8. 1 liter of water at 30 degrees Celsius is mixed with 1 liter of water at 50 degrees Celsius. So the temperature of the mixture will be, so you have 4 options. So you basically have 1 liter of water which is at 30 degrees Celsius. This is the temperature. You have in another bowl 1 liter of water which is at 50 degrees Celsius. Now when you mix both of them, what is going to happen? Heat transfer will happen, right? So from high temperature it will go to lower temperature, and this heat transfer will take place as long as both the temperature don't get equalized, right? That's what we learned. So now when you mix both these water, so what will happen? So the average temperature, so the net temperature would be the average of both of these. It is going to be more than 30 degree but less than 50 degree, correct? So therefore the right option would be between 30 degree and 50 degree, because this will become hotter and this will become colder, because heat will flow from this to this. Now when you are actually mixing both the water, that is what is happening when both are coming in contact. So the water from the hotter water, or the hot water from the one which is at a higher temperature will start flowing to the one which is at a lower temperature. So the heat will flow from hotter water towards colder water. So both will reach a stable temperature. Therefore the temperature of the mixture would be more than 30 degree but less than 50 degree. Question number 9. An iron ball at 40 degrees Celsius is dropped in a mug containing water at 40 degrees Celsius. So how will the heat flow? So you have a ball and you have a mug containing water. So this is also at 40 degrees Celsius and this one is also at 40 degrees Celsius. Now we have learnt that heat transfer will take place only if there is a difference of temperature. But here there is no difference of temperature. Therefore there will be no flow of heat. So therefore the heat will not flow from iron ball to water or from water to iron ball. Heat will not flow at all. Had there been a temperature difference, the heat would have flown from the one which is at a higher temperature to the one which is at a lower temperature. Question number 10. A wooden spoon is dipped in a cup of ice cream. Its other end becomes cold by conduction, becomes cold by convection, becomes cold by radiation, does not become cold. Now just make a note of it. It is wooden spoon and we know that wood is a poor conductor of heat. So wood doesn't allow heat to flow through it. Therefore it will not make any difference to the wooden spoon because it doesn't allow heat. It is something like this. When you have a pan with a wooden handle or a plastic handle, even if you keep it on the oven, the handle will not get heated up because it doesn't allow heat to pass through it. So conduction will not take place in case of a wooden spoon and therefore it will not become cold at all. Question number 11. Stainless steel pans are usually provided with copper bottoms. The reason for this could be that, so there again we have 4 options. Copper bottom makes the pan more durable. Durability is not the reason. Such pans appear colorful. Anyways, appearance shouldn't be that important that we will take the extra pain of painting it. Copper is a better conductor of heat than stainless steel. Yes, exactly. Now copper is a metal and steel is an alloy, that is a mixture of a metal and a non-metal. But Copper being a pure metal, it is a better conductor of heat, so it will allow more heat to pass through it. It will get heated up quickly, and it will also heat the vegetables and the content inside it more quickly. So the cooking will become quicker, and that is why copper is therefore the copper bottoms are preferred over the normal ones. So with this, we have reached towards the end of this lesson, and I hope that this lesson on heat would have helped you to understand the concept. So see you all in the next lesson.